Alrighty. I hope that's working. Yeah, I hope so. Alright, so the purpose of today's stream is to teach a gentleman, I think gentleman, called Ploppy, from Pakistan, how to play Magic the Gathering. Hello Ploppy, you're there over on Twitch. So for this first section, I'm going through how the game itself works, and the second section will be getting into some more complicated stuff, like doing drafting. So, alright. So let's do a quick run through outside the context of the game. So this is a card game, a game where you play cards and then you play cards until you win or you lose. How do you win? Generally by reducing the other person's life total down to 0. No tags, Ploppy? You'll have to explain more. You reduce the other person's life total down to 0, or the deck down to 0. Anything that involves zeros is probably going to involve you winning. How you do that is you play cards from one of these many, many decks. You can make your own decks. There are some pre-built decks that come in. I'll wait for you to finish that thought, Ploppy. So here we have a deck. The deck is made up of a numerous amount of cards, and we'll have a look at what constitutes a card here. English tag and card game tag? I've got no idea what you're talking about, Ploppy, but hopefully you can expand further, and then I'll get the idea. So, what makes up a magic card? Let's take a look at one. Ha! This cheerful looking fellow is Edgewall Innkeeper. You can see his name up in the top left. Oh, yes, that's true. I didn't do the tags on Twitch. Maybe I can do that now. Oh, that's right. No, I can't, because I can't log into my Twitch because I'm not getting emails through when I try to, when it tries to verify who I am. So I can't do that. But that's a good thought, Ploppy. So back to the cards. So you have the name of the card in the top left. That's pretty straightforward. It generally has minimal importance, but it helps to identify which card is which. So this card is the Edgewall Innkeeper. In the top right, you have the cost of casting said card. So you'll see that the cards here well, most of them at least, will have different kinds of costs from each other. So you've got, this one is just a single green. This is a grey and a red, so that's one of any colour and a red. This is 2 of any colour and a red, or 2 of any colour and a green, and so on. So sometimes you have more than one of a particular kind of colour. So how do we get these colours? Yes, Ploppy, this is free. I don't think I put a minimal amount of money into the game, but you don't have to at all. It just makes things faster. Yes, it's very similar to Hearthstone. I haven't played the Pokemon Online game, but I suspect it's similar to that as well. So how do we get this mana, which we've already established we need to get to cast these cards? We use land! Now, one of the things that first got me into Magic was how pretty some of the card art is. And the lands make up about a third of a person's deck. And you'll notice that one of the... Well, it's not specified on this card, but on this card it is. Which is that when each turn you can play one land. So you'll have like a hand which will be a mix of all these cards together. You play one of the cards from your hand to the field. So in this case, Castle Embereth. We'll ignore a lot of the text on here. But this thing is functioning the same as this, but just a little bit more spelled out. So we'll look at this one first. So on a given turn, I'll play down a land, and then I might tap that land, so turn it sideways, in order to access the juicy, juicy mana within. I can then spend that mana on any number of things until I run out. And then then we kind of go to the other person's turn, and then when it comes back to mine again, everything untaps, and then I can use it again. So hopefully you're with me so far, Ploppy. So this stuff makes red mana, which you can tell because it's red. This stuff makes green mana, which you can tell because it's green. And this stuff makes both, but it has an extra thing. Ploppy, Pokemon was originally conceived, well, not the original Pokemon idea, but the Pokemon card game was conceived as a feeder for Magic. So I don't know exactly how energy cards work in Pokemon, but it's supposed to be pretty similar. I think The main difference with Pokemon is that your land or energy is attached to a specific creature, whereas in this it's more free floating. You can use it again and again. So it's like if you just played energy but it wasn't attached to anything and you could just use it whenever you wanted to, but only once per round. And then you've got special lands like this one which have an extra effect, but basically it's a long way round of just getting one of these cards from the deck. So if we go back to here, we can see that we've got our 1 costs, which is stuff that only has 1 total mana cost. So this will be a 2 cost, this is a 1 cost. Means that if we've got a forest, or a stomping ground, which is like a mountain and a forest together, we can play this one. If we've got, say, if we get around to turn 2, then we can then cast things which cost 2, and so on. Yes, when the Pokemon dies, the energy you get attached goes to the discard pile. So that is the big difference, is that it won't, the energy, or land in this case, never goes to the discard pile. It just stays in play. But you do use it up. And I presume with Pokemon that you can only kind of attack once anyway. But in this case, the land never goes to the graveyard from being used. It just hangs around. So, other stuff. So we've got creatures, which are like the basic things. So they're, if we're going to, oh man, it's going to be hard for me to make a Pokemon analogy when I don't really know the Pokemon game very well. I guess these are the closest equivalent to your Pokemon, except they are less significant, I suppose. So we pay our mana cost. We put this guy onto the field, and then they have an attack and a defense value, which you can see in the bottom right hand corner. So 1 attack and 1 defense. Those actually aren't the lowest numbers you can get. You can have 0 attack, but if you ever have 0 toughness, I think is the right term, then you die. So you would rarely come across a creature that has 0 toughness unless they have some kind of other way of getting it. Yes, the smallest of all the small Pokemons. So these guys here are all a little bit bigger. We can see they've got Paradise Druid has got 2 attack and 1 toughness. Rimrock Knight has got 3 attack and 1 toughness. And then we go up to the bigger ones. Basically just the numbers get bigger. There are some extra things in here. So we've gone through creatures, which are these, and they're all called creatures. You can see in the middle line between the picture and the main body of text is a description of what it is. So this is a creature, so it's like a Pokemon. It's a human and a peasant. The stuff that comes after creature is generally less important. Can you evolve and make the small guys bigger? In some circumstances, yes, but it's not common. Mostly what you see is what you get. But so Magic's been around for such a long time that they've explored many, many different ideas of how things should be done. So there was, I'll see if I can actually find this. Let's see if I open up other things. So, in one set, there was a mechanic called Adapt. And what this meant was, you play out this guy, the Trollbred Guardian, and if you paid a bit of extra mana, you could make them stronger. So, you kind of had that idea, but it's not stuck around as an evergreen mechanic, which is a mechanic that can turn up anywhere, because I think it wasn't necessarily that great. But that idea has been explored. Most of the time, though, you'll be making things stronger using other cards rather than evolving them in the same way. So what a great chance to talk about non-creature things. So we've got sorceries, and you'll have to tell me what this is equivalent to in Pokemon. But this is something you can play during your turn, but you can never play it reactively. So, when it's your turn, you can be like, okay, I could play a guy down, or I could play a sorcery, and it does something. So this thing makes one of our guys fight one of their guys. Oh yeah, Ploppy, this game will never be complete. There's always new things coming into it. So sometimes it's more similar to Pokemon, sometimes it's less. So trainer cards and stadium cards kill the Pokemon, gives them advantages. So this is, I think, possibly a little similar to a trainer card then. So this is giving a +1/+1s counter. So this will make our things 1 toughness and 1 power more good, better. So if this one got a +1/+1 counter, it would become a 3/2, and that sticks around. There are cards that give you temporary bonuses which don't stick around, but counters do. They're kind of the exception to the rule, honestly. So this thing's this trainer card or sorcery is effect is we put a +1/+1 on one of our creatures. So we've got to have a creature first to even use this, and then it fights. It deals its damage to a target creature or planeswalker, which we'll get to a lot later on, which you don't control. So if we've got the Paradise Druid, we say, all right, we're going to put a +1/+1 on this one, and then we're going to have it fight. We're not going to have it fight something else. I'm trying to make sure I don't say anything that's going to confuse you later on. It just does its power as damage to something else. And I think there is stuff like this in Pokemon, but I'm not sure. I think this is kind of similar to how a Pokemon move would work, in that you just deal damage to something else. Okay, what else have we got going on? So that's a sorcery. Let's see, do we have any... I don't think we actually have any instants. Okay, this is going to be teaching you two different things at the same time. So, I mentioned that there are certain things that only turn up every now and again. This is one of them. So the Bone Crusher Giant is a kind of a two-part creature. It's got an instant, which is just like a sorcery, except you can use it whenever you want. But when you cast it, this card as its instant side, then you can then cast it as its creature side later on. Yes, Pokemon definitely does have troubling implications if you get too deep into it. For sure. So, again, so the instant you can cast whenever you want, as long as, of course, you've got the mana to be able to pay for it. So this is also an adventure card. So this is why it's getting a little bit complicated. So adventure cards, if you cast the adventure side, which is the left-hand side, you can then cast the right-hand side at a later date if you want to. If you've got enough mana, you can cast both sides. Lovestruck Beast is the same thing. It's got a sorcery adventure rather than an instant adventure. So again, this is the slower version of that idea. You can just be like, I will create a little guy. And then if you do that, you can play the adventure... Sorry, you can play the creature side later on. So you can always play the creature side without playing the adventure first. But it's just like an optional extra you can cash into if you want to. You'll notice there's a lot of fairy tale stuff going on in this. So there's a very heavy theming for fairy tales in this. I imagine that Pokemon has the same sort of thing where it's like... its most basic would be like, there's an ice theme set. Well, in this case, it's a fairy tale theme set. So this is Beauty and the Beast. So half of this card lets you create a 1/1, so the smallest kind of human creature token. And Lovestruck Beast finds itself unable to function unless it's 1/1, unless there's a 1/1 around. Bobby, yes, you do unlock cards as you go along. You will earn cards by completing the drafts, which we'll be doing in a bit. You'll also complete quests, which are little micro objectives that will give you in-game gold. So these are the two forms of currency: the in-game gold that you can spend on certain things, and gems, which can be also spent, but on different stuff. What else we got? We have really weird exceptions. So you've got enchantments, which I think might be like stadium cards, but you can tell me if that's correct or not. Enchantments, you play them like sorceries, so you can't ever use them reactively. Like someone, when I say reactively, I mean someone does something and you're like, haha, I do this in response. But no, enchantments are like sorceries, you just kind of play them in a more sedate pace. But this one isn't just because we want to do this the most complicated way possible. This is an enchantment and a creature. But I won't worry about the entirety of that right now. Just know that enchantments are stuff you put on the field and they have an ongoing effect. They don't go to the graveyard when you cast them, unlike instants and sorceries. Enchantments stick around and they've got some kind of ongoing effect. Don't worry about it being a creature, because that's more than we need to get into right now. We've got this, which is another enchantment. It's a specific type of enchantment that operates in multiple stages. You can see where it's got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the first turn you play it, it does the first part, then the second turn it does the second part, and so on until it's done the fourth one, and then it goes to the graveyard. So it's kind of a delayed multi-stage effect, which is complicated. More complicated than it needs to be, probably. So then we've got more creatures. There's lots of text on these guys, but we won't worry about that for now. The last kind of card we'll be talking about, and don't worry about remembering all of this right now, because I wouldn't be able to, is Embercleave. So this card is a piece of equipment. It's also an enchantment. Sorry, it's an artifact. Jeez. So artifacts are very similar to enchantments. So we had these enchantments over here, in that they will stick around. The real difference, I guess, between artifacts and enchantments is just that they're called different things. In a lot of ways, they are very similar. They're mostly... artifacts can be creatures, and now enchantments can be creatures as well. It didn't used to be the case that enchantments could be creatures, but as of this current set, they can be. So there's a lot going on. I guess the most important thing to remember is that a lot of this isn't specifically important to remember, but other cards will reference them. So there'll be like a card which is like destroy an artifact, for example. So you know it would work on destroying this, but it wouldn't work on destroying an enchantment, even though functionally, game speaking, they work more or less the same way. Do you play one creature at a time? You can play as many creatures as you've got mana for. So if I've got, say, 10 mana, I could play a bunch of these all at the same time. But if I've only got 3 mana, then maybe I can only play one of them. So the thing with artifacts is, again, like enchantments, they stick around. This one's got a special effect that makes it cheaper if I've got a big creature on the field. Oh, that's interesting. So Pokemon has got a hard limit on how many you can play on a turn. I didn't know that. Yes, I think Pokemon works that way because it's more of a feeder into Magic, which is a lot more complicated. So you can have more things happening at once. Whereas, I think in Pokemon, I presume the reason they make it that way is so that you don't have to worry too much about a million different things going on, which we will definitely be worrying about. So this one has got a special effect. We can gain life and it makes all of our creatures better. This one is a bit of kind of breaks the rules. Do you kill the enemy creatures first and then the enemy, or do you go straight at the enemy? We'll get into the specifics of the battle mechanics, but broadly speaking, you always attack the enemy, and it's up to the enemy if they want to try and block you or not. That's the general rule. That's something which will always be true. So Embercleave breaks the rules of artifacts. So if you remember from before, the enchantments are like sorceries in that we can only play them on our turn. Flash breaks that rule. So normally, you know, if we play out this big sword, which is supposed to be Excalibur by another name, if we play out this big sword, the other person can kind of see it coming and be like, okay, I know they've got a big sword, I'll make sure I keep a creature or a spell that can deal with it. But this one being flash means that when we attack, we get to play it out with our opponent not necessarily knowing we're going to do it beforehand. Floppy, yes, it is turn-based. I think structurally it's very similar to Pokemon. So this particular card's effect, I'm not going to go into too much because we're not going to actually be using it in a minute when we play. Oh, actually, no, I suppose we will be. So this card, you can see, it's a pretty expensive card. It's got 4 mana of any colour and then 2 red. So that seems like that's going to take us a long time to get enough land to do it. But its special effect is that for each creature we have that's attacking, it costs 1 less. So that's 1 grey less. You'll notice it's got 4 grey and 2 red. So if we have, say, 3 creatures attacking, then that's going to go down to 1 grey and 2 red. The lowest it can go is to 2 red because it only reduces the grey cost, but it's still very, very cheap for what is a very powerful effect. Which is it makes our creatures stronger, and it also lets them hit twice, including hitting before the other side, which is very, very good. Alright, so let's give this a try. Because Magic is a little bit, they're in love with their various confusing phrases, a red and a green combination of colours together is called Gruel. It's not really important to remember that, but Just a for instance of all the stuff that goes on. So I'll run through everything we're doing and why once we get in. Okay, so the first thing we do is we get a hand of 7 cards. We need to choose if we think it's a good hand or a bad hand. I think this is probably an okay hand. So we see we've got 1 red, 1 green, and 1 thing that can get us anything. So our stuff here costs 3, probably about 3 as well with the discount. 3 again and 4. Oh, my tags appeared. Oh, that's good. So we've got enough land in this combination to be able to pay for most of the stuff in our hand. So I think we'll be fine. So we'll keep these 7. So this one we haven't really talked about. So this, instead of just a sort of basic land, which is a forest or a mountain, which gives us mana, this one has a special effect which gets us another land from our deck. So we'll play that out. We won't be able to use the land that it gets straight away, but we don't have anything that costs 1 anyway, so we don't care. So we'll end our turn. It goes back to the opponent, so they can play a second land, and then if they've got... Oh, everyone's got pets in this game. It's just the way they sell stuff. So, you know, one of the things about it being a free-to-play game is they have to find ways to get people to give money. Alright, so our opponent's not going to play anything, so we'll use our land's effect. It blows itself up and gets us stuff from our deck. So we need more red and we also need more green. So it's a bit of a tricky choice to choose which is which. I think I'll go for green. And I'll play out a red now. And I think what we'll do is we'll play Paradise Druid. So this one's special effect is that I can use it to make more mana. And it's also got hexproof, which means it can't be targeted by negative effects from our opponent. That doesn't really come up very often. Yes, so we're in a pretty good spot now. So let's see. So Castle Embereth is just basically a mountain, but it's got an extra effect stable to it. So let's play that one out. So let's see. If we attack... No, that's still not going to be enough. So what we can do is we've got 1 green and 2 red, but this one can give us any colour of mana. So we note as well that our opponent has not played anything, which is a little bit suspicious. So with that in mind, we're going to play things a little bit more slowly. So you'll see in a minute why we don't necessarily want to just throw all of our best cards out straight away, because one of the types of card is a counter card, which means if I play something, an opponent doesn't like it, they can just be like, no, and that's exactly what has happened. They have played... they've chosen a counter card, which means our card will die. But now that they've used up their land for this turn, we can play a big creature ramp. Haha! We bamboozled them! So they used their counter card on something which wasn't... Well, it was good, but it wasn't the only thing we could play, on the assumption that they would be fine beyond that point. Okay, so they've killed another one of our things, but we're okay, we're okay. What else we got? Ooh, so now our opponent's got 2 blue, which I think we can afford to risk playing out a creature here and hoping they don't have another counter card. Let's see, do they? They do not! Cool! So this is where we get to see the battle mechanics. Yes, the lands do recover after a turn. So if they had defending creatures, they'd be able to choose to defend with, but they haven't. So we'll attack with both of our guys. This is going to do 8. And if this life turtle goes down to 0, then we win. So we're in a pretty good spot right now. They don't have any stuff. We've got a lot of good stuff. This questing beast has got tons of different effects built into it. But I'll bring them up as they become relevant. Yeah, Ploppy, it's a cool looking game. Like, this is probably the best version of Magic that I've ever seen put together. It's very visually appealing, and it's not too hard to read what's going on because of the effects and things. So from here, our opponent's probably going to make a bigger play this turn, because the thing with these counter spells they're playing a lot of is that they only work on stuff that's coming from my hand to the field. Whereas in this case, once they're already on the field, that doesn't do anything. So Thief of Sanity, this is the flying creature, which means that only stuff that has flying or reach, as in something that can reach up to the sky, can interact with it. So we're going to just attack again, because their creature is smaller than both of ours. You see it's got 2 power and 2 toughness. Ours have got enough toughness if they have a fight, they won't go down to 0. Even my 3-1 has got more. So our opponent may or may not block here. They will not block. And now they're going down to 4. So this game is going pretty well. So we're going to play our enchantment. So the airborne can hit the land units, but the land units cannot hit the airborne. That's not strictly accurate because if the flying one does choose to start a fight with our non-flying ones, they will hit each other. It's just that if this one doesn't want to, if this one attacks us, unless we've got flying or reach, we can't block it. So our opponent is in a really rough position at this point. They've not kept us from playing our big creatures, which is what they were hoping to do. We've got a card that's going to make one of our creatures even better. So first they created the human soldier. Next it's going to put some extra tokens on. Yes, it's looking pretty rough for our opponent. I think we're going to win this one. So our opponent is going to hit us with the Thief of Sanity. This card's effect lets it steal cards out of our deck and use them for our opponent's nefarious purposes, which is probably going to be somewhat useful because our deck's made up of big creatures, and so they might be able to get one of our big creatures and play it for themselves. So what do they get? We don't know until they play it. Okay. So one of the relevant effects of... Okay, there we go. So they stole a Bone Crusher Giant. They're going to use the instant side of it to do 2 damage or something. So they're going to blow up our human soldier. Alright. That's not the end of the world. Hey, Reiki Gaming. How's it going? I'm teaching Ploppy, who's over on Twitch at the moment, how to play Magic the Gathering. And demonstrating with a game here that's pretty good. Oh, so this is a... So remember we talked about enchantments before? Oh, they just want to show off they have a really good card. Okay. So our opponent had a really good card, they never got to play it. So this is the kind of the main screen. So you see here you've got different kinds of quests you can go for. You can re-roll them on occasion as well to try and get more expensive one. There we go. So it costs 5,000 gold to run a draft, which is what we're about to do. Floppy, thank you for your congratulations. Right, Gaming, do you play Magic? I could go back and re-explain some things over again, but hopefully... Right, Gaming, so there's a bit of a break with the ESL MT5. Apparently contracts are being sorted out, but as far as my understanding is, it will be picking up again. So don't worry. It should be okay. Right, so we're going to jump into something called Ranked Draft. So what we've done is we've made a deck out of cards that we selected from packs, and then we're going to play some games with them. I don't know if Pokemon has an equivalent to this. Let's have a look at some of our cards. So we've got some artifacts, which will be a sword and something that searches for land for us, which is all fairly straightforward. Enchantments, which makes our stuff better. We've got tons of creatures we can put enchantments on, and some of those enchantment creatures, which are unique to this set, which doesn't really do anything in of itself, but it just means that other cards that care about enchantments care about these. Blah blah blah. Enchantments, stuff. More equipment. Our deck has basically a bunch of creatures and a bunch of things we put onto those creatures. So I don't know what the Pokemon equivalent of that would be, but there probably is one. So we've got Impending Doom, which is an enchantment which is very good, but has a couple of downsides to it. So it's very high risk, high reward. And then we've got a Pegasus that makes more Pegasi. Well, this guy's not so important. This one is kind of the reason why I'm playing this deck. So this guy is the... Oh, attachments. Okay, so yeah, attachments sounds like it's very similar. So this guy's got a kind of a weird effect. When he comes into play, you choose a number 2, 3, or 4. And Haktos, this guy has got protection from everything apart from that number. Right Gaming, well, as I said, the Call of Duty Mobile, that's totally fair enough, but the MC5 hasn't stopped. My understanding is they're just renegotiating the contract at the moment. So Haktos won't be able to be damaged or done anything to apart from a certain converted mana cost. And a converted mana cost is how much mana it costs altogether. So in this case, that's 4 little pips up at the top right, so that's cost 4. In this case, it's 2 greys and 1 red, so that's 3. In this case, it's 2 reds and 3 grey, so it's 5. So this guy can be super, super powerful. It's random. The number is random here. So it's he could be really good or he could just get killed straight away. So I don't know how well this is going to go, but hopefully it'll be great. Other stuff, we've got some big guys who aren't particularly exciting. And Archon of Falling Stars, which is it's a flying cow with a knight on the top of it, which is flying, the same way we said before. But when it dies, we can get an enchantment back from our graveyard to the battlefield. And we've got a lot of good enchantments in this deck. We've got some white land, some red land, and some white or red land. So yeah, it's all good stuff. We'll see how it goes. Yes, the whole deck is based around mythology. It's the second time they've done a Greek mythology set. So this is kind of like edgy Greek mythology. The first one was just more straight Greek mythology. I'm out of water. So what have we got here? So our creatures are really expensive, but we have got a draw spell. So I think we might be able to get away with it. I think what I might do is throw away this guy with our draw spell that needs us to throw something away, and then hopefully we'll draw something better. So we'll keep it. So you've got 3 land. So let's play out our. Yes, our character is amazing. It's a little fraidy cat thing. It's brilliant. Oh, there we go. We found our best card. Excellent. So all we need to do is get this guy down, and hopefully, if we get some protection from him as well, then he'll be Gucci. So we'll hold on to. We won't do anything this time. This is an instant, so we can play it during our opponent's turn. Well, pretty much any time we want. So hold on to it. We could play Wings of Hubris. That's another 2-cost one, but that's equipment for a creature we don't have as of yet. Okay, what are they going to do? Nothing. Okay. Let's see if we can get away with this. So they might counter us, but they didn't. Okay, cool. Okay, we still don't have too much we can actually do, but we can set up for a future turn. So we'll use the Traveler's Amulet, which will let us get a land card from our deck to our hand, which is pretty handy. Which I think is very similar to what you have in Pokemon as a trainer card. And the Wings of Hubris, which is a piece of equipment which we can attach to one of our Pokemon or one of our creatures later on to give it flying, which is a very useful thing to be able to just sort of have on tap. So ideally, the thing is, this is our best card. We don't want to play it out if we think our opponent has a counter spell, and blue is the colour of counter spells. The fact they're not playing anything is a little bit worrying. So I think what we'll have to do is we'll play out our second best thing, and we'll see if they've got counter spells. They don't. Okay, so this thing's really good. Lifelink means that whenever it hits something, we get that much life back to our life total. Flying is, we've already established. And Constellation is, if we ever play an enchantment, like this one, we get a 3 Pegasus for our troubles, which also has got lifelink and flying. So, all in all, pretty good. So something that's probably different than Pokemon, I don't know if this is the case, but when you play out a creature, it has Summoning Sickness. So it can't attack the turn that it's played, which is different than Yu-Gi-Oh!, which they can. There is an exception to that rule. Oh, okay, so they played a guy who just makes a guy bigger for a turn, which is not particularly useful right now. But yeah, you nearly always have to wait for a turn for someone to come in. So I think in this case, we have got ourselves a very good setup where, oops, we just made a mess of things. Okay, never mind. It's not the end of the world. Oh, it happens in Pokemon if you retreat. Okay, I don't actually understand the retreating mechanics of Pokemon. Alright, so we'll play our giant guy. So this guy has... Oh, excellent. Okay, that's a pretty good draw. So this guy has got 3 attacks, so he'll kill this one if they fight, but 6 defense, which is more than their 4. So this is a very good creature for blocking with. And our Archon of Sun's Grace, which is just a fancy word for a person riding a Pegasus in this case, will hit them. You'll see that they couldn't block it because it's flying, and then we're in a pretty good spot. So we really want to get Haktos out next time round, so we're going to have to play the turn in a particular way. Oh, there we go. They've now got their own flying creature, which costs 5. Okay, so we're going to get the chance to use Haktos to do some cool stuff. So this card is based on I think Atlas holding up the world, but they're all kind of mixed together in kind of weird ways. Okay, so we'll use our Traveler's Amulet, boom, to get us a red mana. Then we'll play that out, and we'll play Haktos, who we'll see what number he gets. His number is 2, so if it doesn't cost 2, it basically can't interact with him at all. So there's, if there's a card that will blow him up or something, then it won't work unless it costs 2. 2's relatively common, but let's attack with this guy. So though our attack is not enough to beat their defense, so normally an attack like this wouldn't be worthwhile. Because we've got lifelink, just the fact that these guys fight each other means that we will gain life. Oh, a note as well, which I don't know if this is the case with Pokemon, that the damage done to a creature resets every round. This is not the case with Legends of Runeterra, which is a more recent game, and the World of Warcraft trading card game, but it's kind of common elsewhere. So our opponent's in a tough spot. If they don't have something that costs 2, they literally can't interact with Haktos at all. That does cost 2. So we have to be worried about the Nessian Hornbeetle. But this one's effect is if they control something that has 4 more power, which in this case they do, then it gets bigger and bigger. It's a pretty scary creature. Fortunately, we've got a card that is going to be able to deal with that. Okay. So there we go. We create, because we played an enchantment creature, this one gets the constellation effect, which is when you play an enchantment, create a Pegasus. That's what we've got. And we're also going to make sure that Hornbeetle doesn't get too carried away with doing stuff. And that also means we create another Pegasus. Lovely. So Haktos has to attack, and that's what they're going to do. As does the Archon of Sun's Grace. So we've got these 2 Pegasus hanging around as well. And we've also got a critter that makes our, or creature, that makes our spells a bit cheaper. So notice this has got reach, so though it doesn't have flying itself. Can you give another unit wings after using it? Yes, you can reassign it. As, ooh, if we made a mistake here, I think we might have. So you can block with multiple units together. So in this case, I think that's what's going to happen, is that they've got a total power of 4, and we don't actually have enough to kill either of them. So that's a bummer. What we do have is a lot of life, so we're in a pretty good spot. So we could transfer these wings to something else. In fact, that might be the right thing to do. The problem we've got is they've got two things that can interact with flyers, which is a bit of a pain. Ideally, they wouldn't have any. Which means that, because there's always a defender's advantage in this game, that you can block with multiple things, but you can't attack this. But you're always attacking the person. There we go. They gain 2 life, which is going to make it a lot harder for us to kill them. Nyx spawn Colossus, huh? Okay, that's a big boy. Do we have any enchantments in the graveyard? Not yet. Okay. So if we attack with our 2/2s, unfortunately their 3/4 thing is big enough to kill it. So we'll just keep whacking in with this guy. What we've got on our hand is a 4/4 flying cow. Its secondary effect of getting an enchantment back isn't going to happen anytime soon. But the fact that it's got 4 and 4 means it can kill any of their creatures that block it. So they've got... But if they did block it with both of theirs, then they would kill it back. So I have to be careful of that. The secondary effect of Wings of Hubris is that you can make it so that one of your creatures can't be blocked by sacrificing the wings, as my comrade on the commentary, Daedalus, is it's the Greek myth of flying too close, Icarus flying too close to the sun. We didn't even actually need to use it in that case because our opponent didn't have any way of dealing with our big guy. So there we go. So as you go through, you buy into this with 5,000 gold or 750 gems, and as you go through, you get free packs and also a gem reward depending on how well you do. You can take up to 3 losses before you're done, and this is the way which you don't necessarily need to spend any money on the game, because you can earn gold from doing these quests. You can use that gold to play in these drafts, and then get the premium currency. So you never need to actually, as long as you're willing to wait, you never need to spend anything. It's only if you want to get to places faster, really. Okay, so let's give it another try. So as we go, we'll be facing off against people with similar records. So now we're facing off against someone who's won 1 game and lost 0. So the further we go through this kind of run, the harder our opponents will be, because they'll either have better decks that they got from the draft, which will I'll do a draft after this, but won't play another draft. I'll just show you what it is like. Okay, so this is a bit more of a difficult choice. So we have got a kind of similar thing to last time. We've only got 2 lands, so normally you don't want to keep hands with only 2 lands in it, because I suspect, like in Pokemon, if you don't have the energy to use your Pokemon, that it doesn't matter how many you have if they're not going to do anything. However, we've still got the Thrill of Possibility card that lets us discard a card and draw, and we do have enough land to play that, so I think we can get away with this. This is a very good card, as we saw from last time around. This is the thing that makes its attack return, but makes the creature much bigger. If you put enchantments on flying creatures, as in creatures that are hard to block, then it can be very, very good. So I think we'll try this, because we've got a creature we can play for 2 mana if it goes really, really badly. We can throw away our expensive stuff and get some new things, and I think we'll be alright. Though this could be bad. We're going first, we don't get to draw in the first round. That's the kind of the trade-off for going first. Let's put on our white mana first, to try and make our opponent think we are a different kind of deck than we are. And there we go. And we're going to do this now just in case our opponent has a counter spell that I really don't want to get countered. If we chuck away our really expensive Rumbling Sentry, because we don't want to hold on to stuff that we can't cast for ages anyway. And there we go, we drew in a land. Haha! If we got away with it, that means it was a good idea. So they've got the same card we're playing. Alright. So we'll keep the good times rolling. We're going to play out our first creature. So we will need another white mana to be able to play the Archon, but once we've got that, we're in a really, really good spot. So anything that fights this dies. Oh no, sorry, not anything that fights this dies. Anything that would die gets... So in this case, I've got more power than they... I've got enough power to kill their toughness. They don't have enough power to kill mine, but because they're flying, I can't block them. Excellent. So they have left up... They've got blue and white again. So again, we could be looking at counter spells, but I think I'm going to go crazy here and throw out our big creature. You see, it's pausing now because our opponent's got something, but it's not something they're going to play right now. Okay. So the game kind of auto skips whenever you don't have a move to make. So I think we'll find out in a second what it was pausing for. Oh, that they've got a flying 2/2. Okay, so our thing is bigger than theirs. So that's really good. So if they attack, then we'll be able to block. We've got more power than they've got toughness. Ah, but they're going to make us work off this enchantment. So we can't attack or block while we're enchanted with this. So that's bad news. But it's not the worst news. I don't know what's going to happen if we do this, so let's give it a try. So hexproof means you can't be targeted by enemy things. So if we equip the mirror shield, or attach the mirror shield to the Archon, it's then hexproof. I don't know if that means that the enchantment falls off. Nope, apparently not. Well, live and learn. So we sort of wasted a turn there. Never mind. We learned something, which is the important thing. So this, they've got basically just a bunch of critters that do various different things. We're not going to block this time round. Can you do this? Go purple. I actually don't know how to do that. Okay, so we need to be getting... So they've got a lot of flying stuff. We're going to spend a lot of mana to play a big old giant man. We probably don't want more land. So we're going to get hit in the face for at least 3. So we're in a tough spot. But if we can get back our Archon of Sun's Grace, that thing's got lifelink, which means that it will get us back health once it can start attacking and blocking again. So Rumbling Sentry should be able to stand in the way. Ugh, okay, so this guy gets flying when an enchantment comes in, and this one is an enchantment. So that's bad news. Yep. We're in a tough spot. We're in a very tough spot. They've just made our things tap, and a tap thing you cannot block. Alright, let's see. We're going to take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. So they've got... Will this make a difference? No, we're not going to block with this. Just because I don't think it will make a difference as to whether or not we die next time. Floppy. Oh, Pakistan is not listed as a region in the game. I guess you could just choose a different one. I think we're probably going to lose this because they've put us in a very tight spot. Okay. Okay. I mean, yeah, you could put the UK in, I think. I don't know if there's something weird going on, or maybe it's listed as a different name for some reason. Alright. Yep, we're pretty toast. And there we go. The downside of that particular enchantment we're using is it does 3 damage to us, we have 3 life, and so we are 3 down. Sadness, sadness. Alright. I'll be back just a second while I grab myself some more water, and then we'll carry on for a little bit more. Oh, okay, so we got... I don't know if there was too much we could have done about that specifically, but because we didn't actually... I think our general idea of what we kept in our opening hand was alright. I think we were maybe a little bit unlucky to have 2 lofts that way. Ooh, that's a cool little guy they got there. So again, we've got the Thriller possibility. We've got a cheap creature, so I think this is actually totally fine. So this guy's effect is he gets bigger every time we cast something during our opponent's turn, which you really need to be able to build your deck to be able to do. Because while this, basically you need instants, and enchantments you can only cast on your own turn for the most part. So it's harder to get him to work. Alright, let's get this rolling. So, one of the big things about Magic, and I expect all card games really, is the moments of decision that you're making. So, at this point, I could draw cards, or I could play a creature. Because I went first, and I can play my creatures first, I'm gonna choose to do that, because we're going to have enough land to play next time round. So we don't need to worry about trying to draw more cards to make sure we can. A big thing is, if you don't get to play one, then that can be a problem. So we're going to attack with our Incendiary Oracle. So the Incendiary Oracles, you need to water your pea plant, Polly. Well, that's one way of putting it. So this guy is pretty good, but our effect lets us make ourselves stronger if they decide to block us, which it looks like they're not going to. It's totally fine. So we're probably going to throw this guy away again, because he's not really going to do a huge amount for us. We've got the mana. So leaving mana open is leaving it untapped, so we're leaving 3 mana open. So we've got a chance to... We've only got this one card to play from here. So this one is that whenever you get an enchantment onto your field, you can try and grab land out your deck. It's a very, very good effect. And in a deck which has got a lot of enchantments, it's extremely strong. There we go, they got a land. Very nice, very nice. Nessian Wanderer. A satyr. There is a sub-theme of satyrs in this one. So let's play our Thriller possibility. Chuck away the Rumble Sentry, he's not going to do anything for us right now. And hey, we got some more cards. Let's play our Flappy Birdman. And our Imp will make our Incendiary Oracle have to attack, but it will mean that it'll attack for a lot, because we've enchanted it. So Ploppy Ploppy, have you downloaded it? Where have you gotten to? So you'll need to make an account. Like, you know, it's fairly standard online game stuff. You need to install it and make an account. But I'm not sure where you've gotten to right now. Okay, Floyd. I'll keep explaining stuff just in case you're still listening. So our opponent has played an enchantment on one of their creatures, makes it stronger. Again, this is making the Nessian Wanderer find them more land. This Nessian Wanderer is really, really good. Also, they've got an owl. Woo, woo. Who doesn't love owls? Apparently, they doesn't love us. Oh, shucks. Okay. So they could... Okay, we're gonna just attack with everything. I was a little worried they might... Okay. They've got some sort of shenanigans going on here. +3/+3, so that means that they will die, but we will also die. Okay. So we take 3 damage from our shenanigans, but hey, we get a new guy to replace them. So, whatever. Whatever! Okay, so Death Touch means if it deals any damage, that our guy dies, which is less than great. So we'll play this guy. If we attack with our Arena Trickster, the Moss Viper will kill it, but I think I can actually live with that. So Death Touch creatures are always tricky to know what to do with, because they'll kill something, almost for certain. But trying to decide what that thing will be can be tricky. The opponent's still not played anything particularly major. Alright, so let's make our Transcendent Envoy a little bit more aggressive. And start clobbering it in the air. Seems pretty good to me. So, once we can play this Archon, which we'll just need one more land to do, I think. Ooh, this guy's big. There we go. So keep hitting in the air. They don't have reach, unlike the last people. And then we can play our Archon to put more stuff in the air. And we also gain life from Daxos' effect, who gets us life every time we play something or something dies on our side of the field. There we go. The noob falls down like a big sack of potatoes. Alrighty, that went pretty well. Hey, we're getting some XP. XP you can use to go up the rewards track here, which is, you've got like the paid rewards track down the bottom and you've got the free rewards track at the top. They're actually pretty okay with their free rewards. And it's not really necessary to pay for the bonus reward track. It's actually like more sort of cosmetic stuff than anything else. There are some things which are worthwhile. Of course, you get that owl thing as well, but again, it's not stuff you need to have. So that's kind of cool. I'm glad that you don't. Floppy, I'm glad you've successfully watered your pea plant. I'm assuming we're talking euphemisms here. Alright. So we'll keep going for the time being. You don't have to... So, nice thing about this mode as well is even though you're playing in what effectively is like a sort of a micro tournament, you don't have to play it all at once. You can just play it whenever you feel like it. So if you rather prefer to, play with your stuff Poro, then you can. It will not stay on my head. So, okay, so this is our first time we're getting a hand which doesn't look very playable. We don't have that draw spell, we don't really have anything which we can play early on, so it's not great. We probably want to swap it out for a new hand. So we mulligan. What have we got? Not a great hand. We've got a lot of expensive stuff and a lot of mana to get it. Let's see. Man, this is tough. I think I probably need to mulligan again. Oh man. Alright, so because we mulliganed twice, we have to throw away 2 cards. So let's get rid of our 2 most expensive cards. Oh yeah, I don't see this game going very well. So we only have got white mana, which means we can't cast any of our red stuff. So that's not good. We'll probably have to use our Helios punishment. So, Poppy, how do you play? Where do you go from the main? Once we get out of this game, I'll take you through it. Alright. Okay, we're going to probably hold off a little bit. So, Ploppy, the first things to do will be the tutorials. It should take you straight into the tutorials, but if not, I'll show you where the tutorials are. Because, yeah, it shouldn't just be leaving you on your own to figure out how the game works, but I can believe that it could do that if something went a bit awry. Excellent. Traveler's Amulet. Exactly what we're looking for. So let's just pop that now. Get a red land from our deck to our hand. And then we are not in such a bad spot anymore. Excellent! Alright, what else we got going on? So we could put we could play out our Incendiary Oracle, we could put a Impending Doom on it. Ooh. Okay. Well, that's given us a pretty strong motivation to put the Helios punishment on there. So this means this creature's going to have to work off its bad behavior for a long time. And while they're doing that, they won't be able to do anything with either this fish or with their enchantment on that fish. Yeah, excellent. Alright. Oh, so Ploppy, you've downloaded Magic Online. You want to be downloading Magic the Gathering Arena. It's a very easy mistake to make. But Magic Online is the ultimate Magic client. You're probably not the first person by a long way to make that mistake. So yeah, watch out for that. Okay. We're in a tough spot. I think we'll chuck away a big creature. But a mirror shield. Nothing. So yeah, Ploppy. So you've got Magic the Gathering Online. We need Magic the Gathering Arena. They're 2 different games. It is confusing. So unfortunately, you just downloaded the other one than the one which you needed to get. I don't know quite why they've got 2 different sort of programs that do the same thing from the same company. But Arena is the one which you need. And Arena's actually got tutorials built into it, whereas Magic the Gathering Online doesn't. It's not really a scam. It's because they don't really get anything out of that, but yes. They could probably make it clearer, but I don't think they would want to for whatever reason. You're gonna sue them. Okay. I mean that seems reasonable. Alright. So we could play any of our 3 cards, but I don't know which one we want to do. I think we'll play out our dude. I'll hold off on doing anything this time around. So what we're looking to make is a super dude with all the dudes on the dude. Eventually their 5/4 is coming back. Have to worry about that as well. Okay, so we'll give this guy the mirror shield, which makes them hex-proof. So again, they can't be targeted by nasty stuff. Then we'll play out the Wings of Hubris. I'm not totally clear what we're going to be doing at this point. Okay. They're going to counter our spell with Whirlwind Denial. Which is okay. So their critter is bigger than our critter. Oh, that's right, but it still had to work off its punishment. Okay, so that's a pretty clear sign this thing's going to get a boost of some kind, which is I'm okay with. Okay. So that's an enchantment with flash. So again, that's something which was unusual outside of the set, but now is less so. Let's see. So we're in a kind of a tight spot. I think we kind of run out of gas here a little bit. I think we're going to let our opponent do this because we're going to put our shield onto our unicorn, which will make it a bit too big for this lionfish to get through. Okay, let's do that so we don't forget. Then we'll play out the Flappy Bird. We'll probably put the Impending Doom onto the Flappy Bird, just because it can start going over their heads. For now, we will do nothing. Because we are, again, the defensive deck, because we're getting beaten up. So we're hoping that eventually we can draw something that will make a difference here. So they've got things that cost 2, they've got things that cost 3. They don't have anything that costs 4. So this, there we go, so 4/6 that measures up pretty well against here. So the power is enough to kill theirs, and the toughness is enough not to get killed by theirs. So we don't expect this stinging lionfish to attack. It did attack, however, which is a pretty clear sign that there's some sort of shenanigans going on. But we will accept their shenanigans. Let's see what they got. Okay. That was weird. Okay, so they just lost their creature, they took 3 damage, and they didn't get anything out of the whole deal. Let's see. So I could play another Impending Doom, but I don't think it would let me kill my opponent actually any faster. Let's see, 4, 8, 12, as opposed to 7. Let's see, if I enchant, so if I hit them this turn, so that's 4, so down to 13. If I then enchant it the further turn, then it will take 2 turns to kill them. If I enchant it now, it will still take 3 turns, so I'm gonna hold off just in case there's a reason I want not to. Because if they blow up this car with all my Impending Dooms in it, it will mess me up real bad. So what is our opponent going to do? They made some sort of weird error where I think they just didn't, for whatever reason, they didn't understand what they were doing. Oh, that's right! No, of course. So the problem with Impending Doom is it forces you to attack, and that's why they attacked in a way which was really bad for them. So if there's a creature or creatures ready to receive them that does enough to win that fight, they have to attack anyway. That's why it's much, much better to put it on things that can't be blocked, like flying ones or similar. Alright, so some sort of shenanigans going on. We'll... okay. Well, if they've got enough to kill us now, then I guess that's just the case. Okay. Okay, we're gonna lose. Because our guy has to attack. Unless... Nope. We can't count. So, oh man, that's a shame. So this was the case here of not really sort of thinking through what was going to happen in the following turn. So I guess the other line there was that we could have used our enchantment a little bit earlier, which would have been higher risk, but in this case, if we thought it through a bit more, we would have realised that even while it held a great possibility for disaster for us, it also was our only way we could have played. Alright, so if we win more, we get more stuff back. If we lose... yeah, we got real close. So, but it was a good educational experience, so I think this is a good sort of general life lesson. We also got there from mulliganing down to 5 cards, which is to start with a really bad hand. But hey, there we go. We've got Thriller Possibility again. We've got Rumbling Sentry. It's all good stuff. So escape means that if it's in the graveyard, you can toss 2 other cards from that graveyard and get it back, which is pretty good. Alright, so we're fine with this. We've got both colours of mana we want. And we've got a way to get more cards while getting rid of our more expensive cards. So I call that a win. So for the time being, we're going to play out our Flappy Birdman. So Hateful Eidolon's effect is that it's got lifelink, which means that even if we block it, as we will do here, they still gain the life, which is a bit of a pain. Oh, and we fell for their trick as well. Very clever, opponent. Very clever. So what we're going to do is we're going to make them pay off their taxes. And keep them from life linking and hitting us constantly. Okay. So we're going to use 3 of the possibility. We're going to throw away escape velocity because we can always get it back later on by paying its escape cost. And then we're going to see if we can get ourselves enough mana to play something else. Alright, this is fine. It's another one of those fluffy Batmans. None of our creatures are enchantment creatures, sadly, so that doesn't make them. Oh, actually, no, it's very specifically different. Oh, there we go, a flash flying, so that's 2 and 2. They could have waited and played that during our time while we're attacking. Ugh, so they've made it a 4/4, that's very bad news. We're going to get smacked in the face, we're not going to block it because... Oh man, we are going to get roughed up. Proper roughed up. Oh man, all of our stuff is so expensive. Floppy, you're hungry. I understand that. So we'll escape our card out from the graveyard, which is a new effect for this set. We'll play our Wings of Hubris, as we're in a tough spot. Dollary dingoes! Poppy, have you not got enough money to pay for your dinner? It's the most tragic state of affairs. Oof. Oh, that's a cool card. Man, 4/4 lifelink and also gets you something to the graveyard. What's not to like? I think we are in very distinct danger of having our butts handed to us on a silver platter. You've got ramen? Oh boy, I have to see what I've got. Need a land? Time to die. So I think we've drawn everything expensive in our deck and not enough mana to be able to play any of it. That is a cruel piece of poetic justice indeed. The Hateful Eidolon has paid off its dues. As the Soul Reaper comes in, because, why not really? We're going to try and stay alive for as long as we can, which is not going to be very long at all, on the off chance that we can figure something out here. That's right. Oh man. Oh man. Things is looking pretty rough. And hey, it's not the land we needed, but it is a bronze sword. At least we can wave that at our opponent, as we can see, because we can't win. We got absolutely smashed because we had too much stuff that was expensive. Oh well. At least, let's claim our prize. Hey, some extra packs. Oops. Let's go and see what's in those packs. Something nice. So we've got a crazy satyr with giant horns. And, ooh, this guy's good. It makes other things bigger, so that's good. Taranika, our current veteran. So if you use that with small creatures, it can make those smalls into bigs. What else we got? We've got one of those lion things that beat us up, which is also an enchantment. We've got a thing that eats stacks. I got a bunch of other stuff. And ooh, an elemental giant. Nice. This guy's pretty good. It's kind of like a little kind of big deal creature that runs around and blows stuff up. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, this is very handy. Alseed of Life's Beauty. Life's Bounty. Very, very handy card. And hey, one of those Impending Dooms. And a Temple of Malice. Cool. As well as some other bits and pieces. There we go. And then I've got enough money from the quests and things to do another one, so I won't do the actual playing, but I will show you. So you pay into the draft, and then you choose cards. So you choose from like a bunch of these different cards, and then add them to deck, and you play with them. So usually there's only one rare card in each thing, which is set by this little golden thing. Usually that's pretty worthwhile having. Perforost's Intervention. I think that's pretty strong. That lets us spend all of our mana to kill something, and that's usually worth having. So let's grab that. What other stuff do we have? So we could go for a Flappy Bird lady, which is okay. A Flappy Bird demon, which is also alright. I kind of want to try and grab this stuff though, because this is kind of fun. This is a kind of a deck that's built around making loads of dudes and then smacking people in the face with them. That seems like a good for a larf. So yeah, I think the rest. So this, all these ones, including so this card pack will come back around again, and there's a fair amount of cards in here that support that kind of strategy. So I'm gonna grab that. What else we got? Banishing Light. That's very, very good. Kill anything. Mirror Shield we used before is alright. Moment of the Sun creates some stuff. That's fine. Okay. Let's go for the Banishing Light. Be able to kill anything whenever we want is pretty strong. Sage of Mysteries. Whatever. A Spider with Reach, which becomes a big spider which is good for if you're going fairly green. Call to the Hunt, equal to Devotion to Green, which is how much green stuff you have on your cards. So that's how much green costs. So this is 1 green devotion, this is 2 green devotion, even though it's not just how many green cards you have. Okay. There is is that a spider lady? I don't know. It's a lot to tell. So we've got loads of cards here which support our kind of strategy. I think we'll go for this one first, because this makes our creature stronger. It also makes it hexproof and indestructible, which is a good combination of things to have. Binding of the Titans. Could be alright. Ooh, Underworld Rage Hand's very good. Yeah. Let's grab that. Grrr! I'm a Rage Hound. Aroo, aroo. Aroo. Something that makes our creatures stronger. I think that's worth having. Let's do that. Oh, something that makes a lot of our creatures stronger. Also enjoy that. Final Flare. Let's give that a try. Oh, Hero of the Worlds. So this is a lady riding a burb. So heroes in the set. So we've got hero of the next one already. It's basically whenever you put a spell, when you cast a spell that targets them. So something like like an attachment or whatever. Everything gets stronger. So we want more of that kind of stuff. So that's good. Let's grab that. Stampede Rider. Is okay. It's a creature. This thing lets us bounce something in and out of play. We don't really have anything that really benefits from that, I think. Or do we? I think we'll go for a few more little dudes. Thrill of Possibility worked pretty well for us before. Wrap in Flames. Yeah. We'll give that a try. It's a stampede! Hey, Jesper. Ploppy, Jesper, or Daedalus is over in the YouTube chat. And Schlombat, how ya doing? Schlombat, I feel like your name doesn't actually seem that familiar. But you're talking like we know each other, so I suspect they may have just forgotten who you are. So in that case, I have to apologise. Alright, we're going to grab a card because it's fun, and grab the other card that's fun too. What do we got? Allure of the Unknown. Oh, this is kind of a fun card. So we could get another hero thingy. There's more heroes. He doesn't love heroes. Allure of the Unknown. Dealers, can you tell Ploppy that you said hi? And you also like fun cards. Well, who doesn't? They're fun. It's in the name. Alright, let's get rid of our green stuff. So we could run this. So, this, man, I don't know if this is good or not, honestly. We could get another hero. I suspect that other people won't be grabbing the heroes quite as often. I wanna. Oh, Ploppy, you subbed on YouTube, it doesn't show you. How weird. Maybe you need to do the bell thing? Ooh, do we take this? Do we take this? Yes. It's too fun not to. Okay. So... Ooh, this is tough, because there is some stuff I'd like to take, but I normally would try and grab the rare, just because... Getting the rares, because you get to keep the cards that you go for. Bob, if you want to find my YouTube, it's youtube.com/counterfeitcast. This isn't actually the best card for us right now, but it is pretty playable. I think we're going to grab the rare anyway. Okay, so we're not seeing as much. But this is fine. Fateful End. Ooh, that's pretty handy. Just bonk something. Bonk! Hero is great. We got more of that kind of stuff. But we've got a whole bunch of stuff in here that's pretty good for us, actually. Okay, so all of this stuff is really good. I think we'll go for this, which is a little bit more expensive. Man, more heroes? This is great. Dealers, what's my YouTube? It's youtube.com/counterfeitcast, because I went and got a custom one, which I think eventually anyone can do. Alright, let's just grab more dudes if we can. Ooh, let's grab a chariot because they're fun. Who doesn't love chariots? Field of Ruin, or... Let's just grab Field of Ruin for the collection. Actually, I think this is... So this card is kind of terrible because it just creates a 1/1 which can't block. But you can use it over and over again by exiling other cards. So I think it's actually worthwhile for rock on a deck where we're trying to make a bunch of dudes. It's a dude! Sure, we'll just grab this anyway. I don't think we'll play it. Whatever. Oh my gosh! So this card is really high return. So I don't think we can really play it in this deck at all, but we're totally taking it because this is the card that everyone's playing in a lot of decks at the moment. It's so ridiculous. It's when you... So you pay 6 for a 3/5 flyer, which isn't that great, but it's got lifelink as well, which is good. And whenever you draw a card, it gets +1/+0. So most of the time it's going to be a 4/5 whenever it's attacking. And whenever it attacks, you draw a card. This is actually probably more worthwhile than the that other thing is, the Allure of the Unknown. But because we have to pay 2 blue for it, we have no way of actually getting that blue mana. It's not great. But we're still going to take it because we want it for our collection. We will just make our deck worse. Whatever. Grab it. Have it. So this guy is pretty good. Alcide. Oof. See, this would be really good for our deck, but again, we probably don't want to be playing blue as well, so I think we're going to take our little dude. We'll take another one that makes our stuff more invincible! Oh, another Hero of the Pride. Don't mind if I do. I mean, this guy is great. This guy is probably okay. Oh, that's real good. Man, I want the card. But I want my deck to work as well. So we'll have another Hero of Pride. Triumph of Anax. That's probably pretty good for us. That makes our stuff just bigger. And targets things, which is great for us. Another hero. Oh gosh. Okay, what do we want? So we've got a cheap creature. Oh, this is really, really good. So Oread of Mountain's Blaze. Oh, Deedless, what are you streaming tonight? I'll see if I can drop by, because I haven't got anything particular on, I think. So, Oread of Mountain's Blaze is really good because it lets us just throw away all of our cards we don't want and get cards we do want. So that's very strong, and it's a cheap creature, so who doesn't, you know, doesn't like that. We've got Wonder Woman over here. This is very derivative of the Wonder Woman art. She's pretty cool, but we can't play it, so we'll take this, which does damage. Another Oread. Excellent. We'll have that. We'll grab a playable red card. Play another Satyrs Cunning. Another Oread. Oh no, we'll grab the Wings of Hubris. I think that's going to be pretty useful. Whatever. Oh, something that actually... Okay, does something but not very much. And then you just like toss... So we've got a really good deck here. And it's just a case of cutting out all the stuff which doesn't seem that great until you find just the stuff that's worth playing. And then, yeah, once you get down to roughly 40 cards or so, then you're pretty much good to go. I've never played a deck like this, but I'm fascinated to do so. I don't know if this Furious Rise actually makes sense in this deck. Let's go to it for now. I think Stampede Rider might be also not that great. Let's see, what's the... So we've got... Okay, we're really short on creatures, so we probably want to get rid of our less amazing stuff, so... Legendary Ploppy, we've got exactly 169 subs here. Well, so I'll figure out the rest of this stuff off stream because it takes a lot of sitting there going to figure out. But if you'd like to, oh gosh, how do I even find my stuff? Let's get out of here for the time being. How do I find my name and number? I don't know if I want to be...
Good to see you again.
Oh, there's a tutorial section. You can go back and do the tutorial section over again if you want to. Once you get in. I'll have to find out... So, I'm just going to check in here because this might show you my account details and I really want to show this on stream. No. Okay. I actually don't know where my friend number is, but if I figure it out, Ploppy, we can get each other added as friends. And yeah, but for now, hopefully, Ploppy, it seems like it's been enough to get you through the door of Magic at least. I hope that you'll have a good time at mucking around with it, and the tutorials are good enough to kind of get you started. I know that the only reason I'm sort of really playing Magic at this point is because people in Bristol were really cool with me. That's the city that's where I used to live. So I hope you have a good time. Let me know, Ploppy, on Discord or wherever if you got any questions. Oh, it's still downloading. Okay. Well, I'll probably be in Deedless's stream later on, which I think is Deedless Casts on Twitch, depending on what he's doing or if I've got anything else that props up. But yeah, for now, I'm going to go have something to eat because it's... Well, maybe not actually. Maybe just a little bit. We'll see how it goes. But that's enough streaming for me right now. Thank you, Floppy, and yeah, I'll run that actual deck maybe another time. Hopefully at a time that you can watch. Floppy, so I'd imagine Dealus is going to start streaming in an hour or two. So keep an eye out for that. Oh, it's kind of late for you already. All right. Well, you can always watch the streams back afterwards. I mean, no, it's not as good because you don't get the whole interaction aspect. But I'll try and do some more streams which are a little bit earlier in the day, because I can do it because I'm in the UK. So, because I tend to work in the evening, so I can do streams which are in the day. But Floppy, thanks for dropping by and showing an interest, and I'll hopefully catch you for another stream soon. Goodbye.